If you run a business, lead a team, or carry a lot of responsibility, you probably know this pattern well. You feel sharp at 8 a.m, you're focused, productive, and getting through your work. You're answering emails, making decisions, getting your training in, looking after the family, feeling like you're productive and working pretty well, and feeling like you're actually getting somewhere. Then somewhere between 2 and 4 p.m, something changes. Your brain slows down, your focus disappears, your motivation deserts you, and suddenly you're reaching for another coffee, something sweet, or anything that might just get you through the rest of the day. Now, most people just call that normal, but if it's happening every day, it's not a discipline problem, it's a pattern that you need to look into. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 areas that I'd look into first if you're crashing every afternoon. And stay with me, because at the end, I'll give you a simple 7-day tracker that'll help you work out if your crashes are due to caffeine, sleep, stress, your diet, or something else altogether. Now, an afternoon crash can have many possible causes, so this video isn't designed to diagnose you from one symptom. It's a framework that'll help you see the bigger picture and identify any patterns that you might want to discuss with a professional. If you're new here, I'm Matt Kerrison, and I've spent over 12 years helping high-performing clients, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and people with a lot on their plate work out the bottlenecks to stop them from feeling and performing at their best. People who are dismissed, misdiagnosed, or just told they were fine. My mission is to give you the same clarity that I've given hundreds before you. So let's get into it. Now, the first reason is your mornings, and the fact they might be helping you push through fatigue rather than resolving the cause of it. Now, this is where people usually go wrong, because they look at the first few hours of the day and they assume that everything's all fine. They wake up, have a coffee, get moving, start answering messages, get into their work, and they feel fine. So they assume, well, my energy must be fine. But morning alertness, caffeine, pressure, and having a busy schedule can make you feel functioning before the underlying fatigue kicks in. This doesn't mean that caffeine is bad. It doesn't mean that your morning alertness is bad. It simply means this: you can be functioning in the morning without being fully recovered. If you need a coffee just to feel like yourself and another one to get through the afternoon, this is worth paying attention to. Not because coffee is the enemy, but because your reliance on it might be giving you useful information about your baseline energy. Now, for the next week, I want you to pay attention to 3 things: how you feel within 30 minutes of waking, how much caffeine you use and when during the day your energy begins to change. Don't just write that you felt tired, write down whether you felt sleepy, anxious, flat, tired, overwhelmed, hungry, or lightheaded, because fatigue isn't always experienced in the same way, and those details can help you identify the problem. Now, reason number 2 is the timing and composition of your meal. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that every energy issue is a blood sugar issue, and I'm certainly not saying that you need to cut out carbs or any other food group for that matter. But the size, timing, and composition of your meals can definitely influence how you feel and how your energy is throughout the day. For some people, a large meal that's quickly absorbed might have them feeling heavy, tired, or sluggish after eating. For someone else, the problem might be skipping breakfast, under-eating through the morning, and arriving at lunch absolutely starving. And another person might be using coffee instead of food, pushing through the morning, and then experiencing a major energy dip when the body finally tells you that it needs fuel. And if you're already underslept, stressed, or training hard, your tolerance for this pattern may be even lower. So the question isn't just what did I eat? The better question is, what did my energy do for the next 2, 3, or 4 hours after I ate? Did you feel sleepy, foggy, hungry again after eating? Did you start craving something sweet? Did your concentration drop? Or did you feel completely fine? But if the same response keeps happening after similar meals, that becomes useful information. Now, an easy way to test this is for the next 7 days, I want you to keep your breakfast and your lunch pretty similar. Include a proper source of protein, some fiber-rich whole foods, and an amount of food that matches your output and your appetite. Then track your energy 2 hours and 4 hours after each meal. Now, you're not trying to create another restrictive diet. You're simply trying to find out whether your afternoon crash follows a repeatable pattern. Moving on to reason number 3, and that is that your stress or recovery load might be too high. Now, honestly, this is the one that usually gets missed the most, because people usually look for an isolated cause. Is it my coffee? Is it my lunch? Is it my hormones? Is it my blood sugar? But your body doesn't experience these things in separate boxes. Your sleep, your stress, your work pressure, your training, your emotional load, your digestion, and your food all contribute to the total demand being put in your system. You might be sleeping 7 hours, but waking up repeatedly. And you might be exercising consistently, but never actually recovering. You could be dealing with bloating, reflux, constipation, or diarrhea and assuming it has nothing to do with your energy. And you might be getting through each day by constantly pushing yourself, even though your body's giving you signals that you need to slow down. Now, this is important because high performers are usually really good at ignoring and overriding the signals their bodies are giving them. They can work when they're tired, they can keep training when they're run down, they can keep showing up even though their body's telling them to slow down. Now, that can look like discipline from the outside, but eventually the accumulated demand will become noticeable. And for many people, the afternoon is when this first becomes obvious. Now, to investigate this, look at the previous 24 hours, not just when you crashed. Ask yourself, how deeply did I sleep? How did I feel when I wake up? How are my stress levels yesterday? Did I train without recovering? Have I had any gut symptoms? Did I mask my fatigue with stimulants? And has this been happening for days, weeks, or even years? Because that crash at 3 p.m. may not have started at 3 p.m. It may be the point where the demand for the previous days, weeks, and years finally became too much to ignore. Now, on top of these 3 common causes, there's another piece to this puzzle that's often overlooked. Let's say someone feels exhausted every afternoon. They go and get some blood tests done to investigate what's going on. The results come back inside of the reference ranges and they're told everything's normal, but they still feel terrible. Now, this doesn't mean your blood test or your doctor's lying, but the blood test results need to be interpreted through a firing on all cylinders lens, not a you're not sick and disease lens. And even then, they don't always explain the full picture, because those results need to be interpreted alongside your history and your symptoms to paint the full picture of what's going on. Because no single marker will individually explain everything. It's a combination of the results, the symptoms, and the wider context that helps to tell the story. So if you've been told your bloods are normal despite feeling anything but, you're not crazy, you're not lazy, and you're not making it up. You may simply need a more complete conversation about what's happening. And if you're sick of being told everything's normal and sick of being stuck in the same position year after year, head to the description and take our health decoder. It's designed to start identifying the biggest areas to investigate when your gut, energy, and overall functions still aren't where they should be. It's not about giving you another extreme diet or random supplement, it's about helping you put the pieces together. You'll find the link in the description below. So if I was investigating your afternoon crash, I certainly wouldn't start with 5 random supplements. I'd start with a simple 7-day pattern tracker. Every day, record these 5 things. Number 1, your sleep quality. It's not just about the hours you're sleeping. I want you to instead rate how restorative your sleep was from 1 to 10. Number 2, your caffeine. I want you to write down how much you had and at what times you had it. Number 3 are your meals, so your breakfast, lunches, dinners, and even your snacks and what times you had them. Number 4 is your energy, rating it between 1 and 10 at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. And number 5 are your symptoms, no matter how random they seem. This includes gut symptoms, dizziness, cravings, headaches, irritability, brain fog, or just a lack of concentration. Then look for repetition. Did the crash happen after a poor night's sleep? Does it happen after skipping food? Does it happen after a bigger lunch? Does it maybe happen after stressful work days but not on weekends? Does it happen even when you've slept well and eaten consistently? And most importantly, don't change 5 things at once. Track first, then make one sensible change based off the pattern that you find. Because if you change your diet, supplements, caffeine, training, and sleep all at once, you'll never know what worked. So remember, an afternoon crash isn't automatically a motivation problem. The 3 areas I'd investigate first are firstly whether morning alertness, caffeine, and pressure are helping you push through fatigue without addressing your baseline energy. Secondly, whether meal timing, meal composition, or your individual response to the meal are contributing to the pattern. And thirdly, whether your total stress and recovery load is higher than your body can comfortably manage. Then interpret those patterns alongside your symptoms, your history, and your medical information. Because the goal isn't to find one trendy explanation, the goal is to understand what your body's repeatedly trying to tell you. Because there's a big difference between not being sick and actually being healthy. And there's also a big difference between just getting through the day and genuinely living the life that you want. If you're dealing with unexplained fatigue, poor performance, stubborn weight, or that afternoon crash, don't just blame yourself, start looking for the pattern instead. Remember, you're not crazy, you're not lazy, and you're not making it up. You probably just need to start looking at the whole picture. And if you want help working out the biggest areas to investigate, the health decoder is below. And if you enjoyed this style of video, make sure you subscribe because I've got plenty of health deep dives coming.